Have you done first? Have you tried those programs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Some problem.
Yeah, please.
yes, sir.
Any doubts, please clarify.
Sendil, I have a question. Could you please explain the 2D array question number one?
Yeah, that object array.
Yeah, correct. The 2D array question.
Yeah. PT, mute your call, PT.
Okay.
Anyone can you share your screen until my Eclipse download? Anyone can you share your screen? Guys, I'm asking you people only to share your screen.
Can I share?
Yeah, anyone. Yeah, I can see. Open the program, Sheikh.
In my Outlook, sir.
Outlook. Yeah.
This one, sir.
I couldn't see your hands on page. Yeah, just come down. Fine. Yeah, long time. Long year. Yes. Yes, sir. Yeah, correct. Come down, Sheikh.
Okay.
Go little up. Up. Okay, wait. This one. So the class dims program. Class dims. I think you went up. Just come down, Sheikh, for the class dims. Okay. So in line number 3, what? No, just go up. Okay. So in line number 3, wait, hello. I told go to the class dims. Come down. Class dims. Yeah. Okay. Sheikh, what you're doing, Sheikh?
Sorry, sir.
So in line number 3, hello. Don't scroll like that. Click the arrow button in the down. Don't move the scroll bar. Click down.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Wait. Class dims. Little bit come down. Next program. Okay. So in line number 3, okay, wait. So in line number 3, you have declared a two-dimensional array. So it is int a of is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a two-dimensional array. And in line number 4, so what we are doing now, we are taking a dimension, that is a of 1. We are taking only a single dimension and we stored inside another single dimension array called b. And since b is a single dimension, I'm taking from my two dimension, we are typecasting by int of a. Sorry, int of. Because int of a is a two-dimensional array. So from the two dimension, I'm just taking a single dimension. I'm just storing into a single dimension. So I'm just typecasting it actually. Next line, we are giving object O1 is equal to a. So now I'm just directly storing the two dimension into an object variable actually. So object is not an array. It is just an class. So object O1 is equal to a. So we are storing a two-dimensional array into our O1 we are storing actually. And remember, object is not an array. It is just a class. In line number 6, so now I'm just storing O1 into a two-dimensional array. And since O1 is not a two-dimensional array, it is just a class which contains a reference of a two-dimensional array. So here we are typecasting by your two dimension. No problem, because already O1 contains the reference of a two-dimensional array. I'm storing O1 into another two-dimensional array and I'm typecasting it, so no problem. But in line number 7, there will be a problem. You will be getting an error in line number 7. Why it so means? Because O1, as I already told before, it is not an array. It is a class, object class actually. So it is not an array. So if it is an array means I can able to extract a one dimension from a two dimension. And in line number 3, we have defined A is a two-dimensional array. And in line number 4, from two dimension, I extracted a single dimension and I stored into a single dimension array. Whereas in line number 5, this O1, it's just an object, not an array actually. So which contains a reference of two-dimension array. So I can able to directly store it. But whenever it comes to line number 7, I can't extract a single dimension from that particular object array. So that's the reason line number 7 will be showing an error. And how you'll avoid an error in line number 7? Instead of defining as a one dimension, you have to make B2 array also to what?
Two dimension.
Two dimension, yes. Okay, because line number 3 is a two dimension. From the two dimension, I can extract one dimension and I can store in B. Whereas line number 5, it's not an array, it is an object class. We are storing the reference of two dimension array into an object class. So in line number 6, yes, A2 is a two dimension array, we are directly storing actually. But in line number 7, we are extracting a one dimension and we are storing, which is not possible because object O1 is not a two dimension array, it is just an object which contains a reference of a 2D. So line number 7 will be showing an error actually. So in order to avoid the error, we are going to make B2 also as a two dimension array.
Yes, I got that out.
Yeah.
And I have sorry.
Yeah, tell me more. Tell me.
I have another doubt also in this concept of arrays. And
yeah.
While I going through the other websites and reference, I saw one a method called .clone. So when they have used that, the reference is actually storing in the new array which we are creating.
Yes,
so while we
we'll be discussing about the clone method later part, Mohan, actually. So this clone method, as the name indicate what is cloning means. Cloning means we are going to take a copy of something actually. So we have a method called clone method where we are going to take a copy of an object or an array. Anything it can be actually. So if I want to take a copy of anything means, then you'll be going for a method called clone method. Might be whenever we'll discuss about the object class, we'll be discussing about the clone method.
Yeah, okay, got it. Okay.
And so normally the clone is used to take a copy of anything. So if I want to take a copy of a class or copy of anything means, in that case I'll be going for your clone method.
Okay, got it. And also I have another doubt on the last question. So you have used keyword outer, right? Like what does that mean?
Just come down, come to the last question, Sheikh.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, Madam.
So could you explain that problem what he was saying is that we have the two for loops there. So I want the explanation that how the execution process will be done.
Okay, this outer. See,
Yeah.
this outer is nothing but what it is. This outer is a label actually. So maybe you have studied in C and C++. No, we'll be giving a colon and I'll give go to a. So this outer is nothing but a label actually. Okay. So for example, I created a label. So we have a for loop int I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, j equal to 0, j less than 5, j plus plus. So I'm just so inner loop will be executed first actually. So j equal to 0, j less than 5, j plus plus. Now first what it will be printed.
Hello.
Hello, it will be printed.
Hello.
Now continue outer. So what it means it is something like a goto. As I already said in the yesterday session, goto cannot be used in. It is a keyword in Java, but you should not use goto actually. And instead of goto, what you have to use?
Continue.
It's called continue outer means what happened means this line it will again go to the label called outer.
Outer.
So again the loop will be starting for int I equal to 1 because once the j loop is completed, then only it will go to the I loop.
Okay.
Normally we have two loops we have created. So once my j loop is completed, then only it will go to the I loop actually. So first time I will be 0, j will be 0, so it will be printing hello. Consider we don't have this continue outer. So what happened? Again j will be incremented 1, again hello will be printed. Again j will be incremented as 2, hello will be printed. J will be incremented as 3, hello will be printed. J will be incremented as 4, hello will be printed. Now the loop is completed, then only it will go to the outer loop. Now I becomes what?
1.
1. But I don't want to do like that actually. So when j equal to 0, first time it was printing hello. Now I'm going to call continue outer. So what happened? Again it will go to my for loop itself, the outer for loop. Sorry, not outer for loop. That is, it will go to the label called outer label. So now again now I becomes what?
0.
Hey,
0.
1. How it becomes 0? Already I is 0, no. So now I becomes how much?
1.
1. Yeah. So now again j becomes how much?
0.
0. So now again it will be printing hello. Now again continue outer. Now I becomes 2. Again it will print hello. Continue outer. I becomes 3. Again it print outer. Then continue outer. Then it will become 4. Now the loop is completed. So what happened? It comes out and what it will be printed? Yes.
Outer.
So this outer is just a label. Even I can give A, I can give B, I can give C, I can give anything. I can give it actually. So it is just a label. Maybe in C and all we have studied. No, I'll give A colon. Then I'll give go to A. So it will start from the A label. It will be starting. But in the case of Java, we can't use go to. And instead of go to, we are using what?
Continue.
Continue.
So the outer is just a label actually. So not necessarily we have to give only outer. I can give anything. I can give actually. Clear, Mohan?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And another person also asked this.
Yeah, fine. It's fine.
So, go to the first program, Sheikh. So what is the output of the first program?
Sir, it gives two errors.
Small x.
Error, sir, error.
Hey, don't,
Small
see,
x, small x.
no,
Small
errors and see, I have given only main method, but you have to create your class and all. You have to create it. Don't say it's an error. I have just
Yes,
provided the main method, but you have to create your class and all. You have to create.
Last name notes.
Small x.
Small x. Why
Small
it is
x.
printing small x?
24 spaces.
Why it is printing small x? Answer, guys. Why it is
It will
printing
be
small x?
incremented each and every time.
Okay.
So while it comes, while the output is greater than 3, it actually prints small x. I mean, the
When
x
it
is,
becomes less than 3, it is not greater than 3. Less than 3.
sorry, sorry. Yeah.
When it becomes less than 3.
We need to make changes to it. Then only it will become less than 0.
No. You should not make any change. Yes, the program is absolutely correct, but output it will be printing only small x. I'm asking how it was printing small x. No need to change anything. Just you have to create a class. That's it.
Yes.
How it was printing small x.
Can I explain?
Yeah. Please.
Okay, while loop is incrementing like this 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 till the maximum value it will reach, then we'll print the minimum value. If you print the small system.out small x plus x, the minus value integer in the minimum value will be printed.
Yes,
Once
perfect.
it will exit reach the maximum value,
Yeah.
then we'll exit the loop.
Yeah.
Then only if printed then
Perfect.
particular small x printed.
Correct. See, first time x is equal to 5 actually. So 5 greater than 1, yes, it will come into the loop. Now 5 plus 1, it becomes 6 actually. Raghav, mute your call. 5 plus 1, it becomes 6 actually. Now 6 is less than 3, no. So again the loop rotates. Now 6 greater than 1, yes. Now x becomes 7. 7 less than 3, no. Again the loop rotates. Now it becomes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like that. It will be going until it reaches your maximum value of your int data type. That is 2 power 31 minus 1. And once it reaches your maximum value, it will go to again, it goes to which one?
Minimum value.
Minimum value. That is minus 2 power 31. So here, it is minus 2 power 31 is less than 3. Yes, it is less than 3. So it will print small x. And once again, it comes to while loop means minus 2 power 31 is not greater than 1. So the loop is completed. So it will comes out of the program. Yeah. Okay, in today's session, we'll be starting with the roots concept we'll be discussing actually. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
In today's session, we'll be discussing about OOPS concept. We'll be discussing actually, and yesterday itself we have discussed about the OOPS, the different concepts in the OOPS actually. What are the different concepts in the OOPS? You discussed inheritance. So we have class, object, encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, and like that we have different OOPS concepts we have discussed. So we'll go one by one. We'll be going. So first we'll be starting with the class as well as your object. Will be. So as we have already discussed, object is nothing but a real world entity. Not only what my object will be containing. Memory references it will contain actually. It will be containing the memory references it will be containing, and what a class is nothing but a blueprint or a template, and what a class will contain actually.
Methods,
Yes, methods, variable as well as your constructor. So now we'll discuss the basic concepts related to the class as well as your object. So I'm just using my Eclipse itself. You can able to see, and did admin people have contacted you?
No, sir.
No, sir. No, sir.
Okay, so I'm just creating a new project. So I'll create one project actually, Java project. I'll create a project called example. I'm going to create a class.
Package name, sir.
The file select. I'll give a new class. I'll give the package name over here itself. I'll give com.bag. Your class name is box. So I have a class called box. So this box is called as what class? Sorry, 1 minute. Okay, before studying, as I already told before, now we are going to study about your OOPS concept, that is your class as well as your object. And as I already told before, in the case of your Java, everything you'll be creating will be what? What you'll be creating always in the case of Java?
Objects.
No, what you create? What you create? Class. Yes, you'll be creating your class. How to access the class with the help of? Help of your object. And generally speaking, there are two types of class actually. Okay, one is we call it to be a main class actually. And what is main class? This will be the entry point of your program. Okay, always your program will be starting with which class it will be starting? It will be starting with your main class. It will be starting with the entry point of your program. And how you identify it as a main class? Wherever you can see a method called public static void main method string array charge. So this, if a class contains this particular method, means this will be the main class actually, and this will be the entry point of your program. And how many main class will be there? It will be always only one main class. It will always only one main class. And why we have to use your main class actually? Okay, why we have to use your main class now? Main class is used to access base class by creating an object, and finally it has to print the value. So we are not going to write any logic inside which class actually. We are not going to write the logic inside the main class and all. We are not going to write it. The main class used to access the base class by creating an object and finally print the value. So for that purpose only you will be using your main class actually. So we have another class actually which is called as your base class actually. And what is the base class? The base class is used to write logic. Okay, so we are going to write the logic actually. We are going to write inside your main base classes, and you can have any number of base class. You can have any number of your base class you can able to have actually, and mainly in order to write the logic you'll be going for your base class actually. Okay, base class. But what does the main class mean? Main class is just to use to access your base class by creating an object and finally print the value. Print has to be done only inside your main class actually. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, let me delete this program. A mistake. Later. So I'm going to create a new class. I'm going to create it. So I'm going to define a class to be main, and here you can select the public static void main method actually. So this particular class, it's we call to be a what class? We call this to be a
Main class.
It contains your public static void main method. It contains your public static void main method. And apart from this, I'm going to create another class called as your box class. So this box is called as what class?
Base class.
So inside this class, I'm going to define three variables: double width, double height, and double depth. So can you guys say what are these three variables are called as?
Class variable.
Class variable. Yes, instance or class variable, because we declared a variable inside my base class we have declared. So this is we call it an instance variable or a class variable actually. And now I'll come to my main class actually. And as I already told before, what is the purpose of a main class? Main class is used to
Call the base object.
How I can access the base class?
By creating
So now I'm going to give box b is equal to new box house. So we are going to create an object called b, and we allocated a memory using a new operator, and we are going to invoke which constructor we are invoking?
box default.
Default constructor.
Constructor. Now I'm going to call b. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to initialize the values to this variables actually. So b dot width is equal to 10. B dot height is equal to 20, and next I'm going to b dot depth is equal to 30. So I'm going to initialize the values to the variable with the help of an object. Next I'm going to declare a variable called double wall. So can you say what is the purpose or what type of variable is this double wall is?
Local.
Local variable. That inside your method we have created. So this is a local variable, and the local variable should be
Initialized.
Yeah, I'm going to calculate b into width dot the b dot width into b dot height into b dot depth actually. So now I'm going to print the output with the help of your system.out.println volume is wall. So now if I try to run it, what it will be printed, it will be printing the volume as 3000, it will be printed. Okay, it will be printing the volume as 3000, it will be printed actually. So it's a simple program, sorry, 6000. Okay. It's a simple program only. So first we created your base class, which contains 3 variables, instance variable actually. Next we created a main class, and inside the main class we accessed the base class by creating an
Object.
object. Next, we initialized the values to the variable with the help of b dot with height depth actually, and next we calculated the volume with the help of your b dot width into b dot height into b dot depth, and we have printed actually. So clear about your first program, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
already told before. And what is the purpose of your main class actually? The main class is just use it to
Access the base class.
Access the base class by creating
Print the value.
print the value actually. But in this case, what we have done, yes, we created an object, we have printed the value. But apart from this, in between, we have done some
logic part.
logic. Okay, we have done some logic actually. But actually, the logic and all has to be done inside which class?
Base class.
Base class.
For the purpose, next topic we are going to discuss is we call it your methods. Next we are going to discuss is we call it methods actually. And what is the purpose of method? Methods are used to write
Logic.
So if I want to write any logics now, in that case, method actually. And what is the syntax of your method? The syntax of your method will be first it will be having your return type.
Return type.
Function name.
Okay, 1 minute. Don't call it as a function. What is the difference between a function and a method? So in this case, the main is called as what?
Method.
Method. But in the case of C++, the main is what?
Method name.
No. I'm asking in the case of Java, main we called as your method actually. But in the case of C and C++, main is called as what? It is a
Function.
function. Yeah. So what is the difference between a function and a method? Both are going to do some logic. What is the difference actually? So method now it should be always present inside a
Class.
class. But function now it will be exist on its own actually. It will be independently, it will be existing actually. And as I already told before, in Java, what you'll be always creating, you'll be creating the
Method.
what you create
Class.
is class.
Creating class.
Class actually. So whatever you're going to write, everything you're going to write inside a class. So that's the reason in the case of Java, you should call as what? Method.
Methods.
Don't call as a function actually. The method means that should be always present inside a class actually. Function now that will be exist on its own, it will be existing actually. So always remember in the case of Java, everything it is called as what? Method, not function. Yeah. So now this method is used to write a logic actually. So we have your return type method name, and you can able to pass some arguments, you can able to pass it, and finally I can able to write some logic, I can able to. So this will be the syntax of using your methods actually. So now what I'm going to do now, as usual, I have a base class actually, which contains 3 instance variables. So now here I'm going to define one method called as your void volume. I'm going to define a method called as your void volume, and inside this void volume, I'm going to define system.out.println of. I'm going to give width into height into depth, width into height into depth actually. So now here what I'm going to do, so here I'm just going to call a thing called as what? B dot volume. Okay, I'm going to call a method called as your B dot method. So now, so instead of writing the logic inside the main class, normally we'll be writing all the logic inside the base class, we'll be writing actually. So I defined a method called as your volume method, and which calculates the volume of the box, it will be calculating. So now inside the main class, it will be, we are going to call B dot volume. So now it goes to the volume method, and what it will be printed again? It will be printed as
6,000.
It will be printed as 6,000. But what is the problem over here? Okay, what is the problem over here? As I already told before, where you will print all the information and all, the output and all, where you will be printing.
Base class.
Huh? In
In the base class.
In which class we have to print the output?
Main class.
Main class. We have to print the output in the main class. We have to print actually. Okay, we have to print the output in the main class. But in this case, where we are printing the output actually?
Base
Base class.
Base class is printing actually.
Base class.
Yeah. So in order to avoid such a situation, because here we have written, give the return type of method to be what?
Void.
What does it mean?
This one.
Okay. But I want to return some value into the main class and I want to print it actually. So here what I'm going to do, instead of void volume, I'm going to define a method called
Double.
Now I'm going to here return width into height into depth actually. And here we are going to define what? Double wall.
Double wall.
Double wall is equal to b dot volume. So now here I'm going to print system.out.println of volume is wall. Okay, volume is less wall actually. Okay. So you can able to see, and here again I'm just to print. Previously we are printing the information inside the base class we are printing actually, but I don't want to print inside the base class. I want to print in the main class. I want to print it. So I want to return some value from the base class to the main class. I want to return it. So we have provided the return type for the method actually. Previously there is no return type of the method, so we are giving us void actually. But I want to return some value to the main class and I want to print it. So we are using a keyword called as what? So we are using a return type. I'm going to use it. So double. So we are going to return. So we are going to return that 6000.0, and now that 6000.0 will be stored in a local variable called
Void.
okay, in a local variable actually, and I'm going to print volume as wall. I'm going to print it. Clear until this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now again, as I already told before, okay, we calculated the logic in my main base class that we have calculated. But here, if you see, what are the 3 lines actually used for? Initialize the value. This again, I don't want to do inside your main method, like main class. I don't want to do it actually. I want to do inside my base class. I want to. Again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to define a method called void setDim method. SetDim method that is going to take double width, double w comma double h comma double d, and I'm going to store and width is equal to w, height is equal to h, and depth is equal to d. Depth is equal to b. So now I don't want to initialize the values over here actually. So I just want to define inside your method itself. So what base class itself. So what I created a parameterized method. The method which is going to take how many parameters? So now instead of defining d line, what I can able to do, I can able to call d dot
Set it
the method, and I can able to pass 10, 20, 30. Okay, I can able to pass 10, 20, 30. So now first we creating the object for the class. Next we are calling the setDim method. It goes to the setDim method. Now w is 10, h will be 20, d will be 30, and width is initialized as 10, height is initialized as 20, and depth is initialized as 30 actually. And after that we are going to call a method called b dot volume method. It goes to the volume method. Now it will calculate the volume of the thing, and it is going to return the volume, and the return volume will be stored in a variable called. And I'm going to print volume. Yeah, and I'm going to print volume as wall. I'm going to print it. Clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Now
sir.
you can able to see my main class contains only object creation, invoking your methods, and print the values actually. So it is not going to contain any other thing. Okay, it is not going to contain any other thing. So that is we call to be your methods actually. So either you can able to create your, and with the help of the methods, you can able to write the logic. Either we can create your parameterized method, or you can able to create your normal methods. Anything you can create in the case of the base class, you can create it. Yeah, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now we have invoked the setter method. Can you guys say what is the purpose of the setter method?
Set the value.
Set the values of-
Set the value.
Yeah. And what is the purpose of the volume method? The volume method is used to calculate the
Return.
volume. It is going to calculate the
Volume.
Yeah. Now, instead of the purpose of the setter method is used to initialize the values to the variable actually. But yesterday class itself we have started one. If I want to initialize any values to the variables, now then we can go for a separate concept called
Constructor.
yes, constructor. Yes, we are going for a concept called as a constructor actually. So constructor, as I already told, I have shared some points we have shared now. So what is constructor now? What is constructor?
Initialize the instance variable.
No.
We can have
Allocate the memory.
memory allocation, sir.
Whenever we create an object for a class, a memory will be allocated. Memory is equal to be a constructor. And when the constructor will be invoked,
When object is created.
Objects are created automatically.
when the object is created, it is going to invoke the constructor. And what is the use of constructor? Constructor is used to
Initialize the object.
initialize the values to the variable. Okay. So if I want to initialize the values to the variable at the time of object creation, then you can go for a constructor actually. And by default, all classes will have one. Apart from this, we can create our own constructor where the constructor name and the
Class name is same.
at that time what it will do? It will destroy the default constructor. Destroy the already present default constructor actually. And the constructor can take
Any number of parameters.
actually, and it can also have some
Access.
not have a
Return type.
Should not have a return type.
Should not have the return type.
why we are going for a constructor, it is used to initialize values to the variable at object creation. Now here we have used your setter method. And what is the purpose of the setter method? The setter method is used to
Initialize the value.
we don't want to use your setter method. Instead of using the setter method, we can use a concept called
Constructor.
constructor. We can use a concept called as a constructor actually. And if I want to create a constructor, okay. So if did I create any constructor in my bots class?
Not yet.
Not yet. So if I'm not created, also by default this class will be containing one
Constructor.
default constructor. And apart from this, we can create our own constructor actually. And whenever we create our own constructor, what it should be saying?
Class name.
So whenever you want to create any constructor, don't sit and type actually. So you have to right click source. Now I want to create a default constructor. I want to create it. So I'll go source, and in the source I'm going to use my generate constructor from
Superclass.
class. So it will be generate constructor from your superclass. Okay, so I'm going to remove this one. Yeah. So there is no need to sit and type and all. You can able to go for the source option. Under your source option, you can able to see a thing called as your generate constructor from superclass actually. So this will create what constructor?
Non-parameterized constructor.
Own customer.
Yeah, default constructor it will be created. Now inside this constructor, I'm going to initialize width is equal to -1, height is equal to 10. Okay, I'll give 10 minus 1. I'll give 10, and depth also to be 10. Depth also to be 10 actually. So now here I'm going to comment the setter method. So now I'm going to create box b is equal to new box of. So whenever we create box b is equal to new box of, it is going to allocate the memory. It is going to create an object, and it is going to allocate the memory and invoke which constructor?
Default constructor.
Default constructor.
Okay, go to the default constructor, and for the b object, what are the width and height and depth will be initialized as?
10.
10 as well as 10 actually. So now I'm going to call b dot volume. Okay, now I'm going to call b dot volume. I'm going to calculate 10 into 10 into 10. So the 1000.0 will be stored in the local variable called vol, and I'm going to make volume as
Okay.
1000. Now I'm going to create another object. Box b1 is equal to new box of. Okay, box b1 is equal to new box of. So now I'm creating a second object called b1. We are allocating a memory and invoking what constructor?
Default.
Default constructor.
The second object also, what are the width, height, and depth values are?
10.
10 as well as your 10. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call vol is equal to b1 dot volume
Volume.
print system dot out dot println of volume is again what my volume will be printed
1000.
1000.0. Okay, it will be printed as 1000.0. So how many objects you're creating? It is always going to take the width, height, and depth values to be what?
10.
10. And for each object, I want to pass a different value. I want to pass it. So for that purpose, we have to create what constructor?
Different.
Only we create default constructor. But now my question is that for all the object, it was taking the same value it was taking actually. But now my question is that for different object, I need to take a different values I want to pass it. So we have to create what constructor?
Parameterized.
We have to use a constructor called as your parameterized. Now, I just show so I'm just creating now. I'll show how to automatically create it. So public box of double. I'll copy this one. Double W comma double H comma double D, and inside this I'm going to initialize your width is equal to W, height is equal to H as well as your depth is equal to D. So previously we created what constructor? Default. The problem default constructor for all the object it was taking the same value. But my objective for different object I want to pass different value. So I'm creating what constructor?
Parameterized.
Parameterized constructor which is going to take 3 arguments. It will be taking. So I'm going to initialize width is equal to W, height is equal to H, and depth is equal to D. So now here what I'm going to define, I'm going to create a second object. Box B2 is equal to new box of 2, 3, 4. So now I'm going to create an object called B2, and we are going to allocate a memory with the help of new operator. And now we are going to invoke which constructor we are invoking. So now what my W will be? 2. And 2 initialized as 2. 2 initialized as how much?
2.
8 will be implemented
I will be 3.
3,
and definitely initialized as how much? 4.
4, sir.
Now I'm going to calculate vol is equal to v2 dot volume. Okay, v2 dot volume. I'm going to calculate the volume, and finally I'm going to print system dot out dot println volume. I'm going to print. So what volume it will be printed? 2 into 3 into
24.
24.
4 printer. And I can create one more object. B3 is equal to new box of. I can able to define and 6 comma 7 comma 8 actually. So now for the B3 object, we are going to invoke which constructor we are going to invoke. We are going to invoke a constructor that takes.
Parameter as
Parameterized constructor, sir.
So now I'm going to invoke a volume method that takes width into height, depth into height. So 6 into 7 into 8, and the return volume will be stored in a variable called.
volume.
So if I want to initialize any values to the variables now, you can go for a concept called what concept?
Parameterized constructor.
Parameterized constructor.
No. Generally we can go for what concept? Constructor.
Constructor, yeah.
You can go for a concept called constructor concept. But if I go for a default constructor now, all the object will be having the.
Same.
If I want to take a different values for the different object now, then you can go for a constructor. Go for a constructor called your parameterized constructor. Till this everyone clear?
Yes, sir.
Next we are going to discuss about a concept called as your. Next we are going to discuss about a concept called as your this keyword. What is the purpose of your this keyword? It is used to access your current class variable.
Current class object.
Variable, not object. It is used to access your current class variable. And then we have to use your this keyword now. We have to use this keyword. We have to use this keyword. We have to use this keyword if parameter name and class variable name are
Same.
yes. Okay. So when we have to use your this keyword now, whenever if my class variable name and my parameter names are same now, in that case, in order to avoid the confusion, you can able to go for a keyword called as your. But this keyword will always access your
Current class variable.
variable. Okay. So for example, here I'm going to define. Okay, here and we have already created your parameterized constructor. Let me comment it. So now here we have typed it actually, but now I'm not going to type it. I'm going to right click source generate constructor using fields. So if I want to create your parameterized constructor now, then we have to go for an option called generate constructor using fields. You have to go for it. So now if I select OK now. So now here you can able to see. And what are the 3 parameters we are passing?
With height and depth.
Height and depth.
Height as well as your depth actually. And what are the instance variables we have?
With height and depth.
So now if I try to give width is equal to width, height is equal to height, and depth is equal to depth now, I'll be confusing which width is your and the parameter and which width is your class variable like that. So in order to differentiate it, you'll be going for a concept called as your this dot width, this dot height, okay, and this dot depth actually. And this keyword will always refers which one? This keyword will always refers your
Current class variable.
So this width will refers your class variable, whereas this width will refers your
Local variable.
No, this one, the width, that's the one which I've selected. This width will refers which parameters. The parameters, and this dot width will refers your
Current class.
yes. Okay. So for purpose, we'll be going for a concept called as your this keyword actually. So as I told before, this keyword is used to access your current class variable. Okay. If I want to access your current class variable now, you can able to go for an option called as your this keyword actually. And what is the when I have to go for a this keyword now? If my parameter name and if my class variable name are same now, in order to differentiate it, you can able to go for a keyword called.
This.
This keyword.
Next, we are going to discuss about a concept called this constructor. We are going to discuss about a concept called as your this constructor actually. And what is this constructor now? Use it to invoke different constructor of same class. Okay. Invoke your different constructor of your same class. So for that purpose, you can able to use a constructor called as your this constructor. For example, let me delete all those things. So right now, I have only one main class we have actually. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to create a class called A. So what this A is called as
Base class.
base class. It is called base class actually. It is called to be a base class actually. So now inside this class A, I'm going to create A of system.out.println of 1. Okay, and what this is called as?
This is a default constructor.
Default constructor. Now I'm going to create A int A. I'm going to use system.out.println of 2. And what this is called as?
Parameterized.
Take int as an argument. Next, I'm going to call a string of yes, and I'm going to print system.out.println of I can give yes. Here also I can give A. Here I can give no parameter. Okay. So now this is also what?
Parameterized constructor.
Constructor which takes string as an argument actually. Okay. So now my question is that how I can able to invoke this default constructor?
So by creating new object,
Yes. So now I create A1 is equal to new A of. So it will equal which constructor?
Default constructor.
Default constructor.
Okay, default constructor. And what is the A1? A1 is an
Object.
object will hold.
Memory reference.
memory reference.
Now I'm going to give A2 is equal to new A of 10. So now it is going to invoke which constructor? Which takes
Int
as an argument. Okay. Next we are going to create A3 is equal to new A of hello. So now it is going to invoke which constructor?
parameterized constructor of string value.
String as an argument. Going to take string as an argument. So how many base class we have? How many base class we have?
One.
How many object we created?
Three objects.
How many memory will be allocated?
Three
memory.
Because whenever we create a new operator, it will be creating a new reference. It will be created. So it is going to allocate 3 reference. It will be creating actually. But instead of doing like this, okay, because this A class contains different constructor. In order to invoke this different constructor, I created how many object I created? Instead of doing like this, okay, instead of doing like this, we can able to go for a constructor called what constructor? And what is this constructor? It is used to invoke the different constructor of your same class. So here, instead of doing like this, okay, let me comment to this one. Instead of doing like this, I am going to call A1 is equal to new A of hello. So which constructor it is going to invoke now? We have two parameterized constructors. Say it properly. So now it will go to this particular constructor. Okay, it will go to this particular constructor. And one more important point you have to remember. So this constructor should be always present in the first line. Okay, this constructor should be always present in first line. First line. So here I can't able to define my this constructor. Here I can't able to define it. So it will lead to an error actually. So this constructor should be always present where? It should be always present in the
First line.
So now we're invoking a constructor that takes string as an argument. Now it comes over here. Now it will invoke which constructor it will be invoking?
Default constructor.
Default constructor. Now it will invoke the default constructor. And inside this default constructor, I'm going to call this of 4. I'm going to call it. Now it will be invoking which constructor?
Parameters of
Now it will come to this particular constructor and what will be printed?
4.
After that, it will go back over here and what it will be printed?
No parameter.
No parameter.
After that, it will come back over here and what yes will be printed?
Hello.
It will be string.
Hello.
Hello, it will be printed. So we have invoked all the 3 constructors we have invoked actually, but how many objects we have created?
One. No.
One object we have created. So that is the purpose of your this constructor. So this constructor is used to invoke different constructor of the
Same class.
and it should be always present in the
First line.
It is always present in the first line actually. So that is the point of your this constructor. Clear guys about the this constructor?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So next we are going to discuss about the concept called as your polymorphism. So what is polymorphism is?
So one class is going to
Class can take many forms.
Many forms. Okay, one class which is going to take many forms, and there are 2 types of polymorphism are there. One is called to be a static or
Dynamic.
one is called
Dynamic runtime polymorphism.
polymorphism. And how you can able to achieve your compile time polymorphism with the help of
method
method
overloading.
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 Look. Listen. How you will achieve your static or compile time polymorphism with the help of method overloading and constructor overloading. And what is not possible in Java? Yesterday we discussed what is not possible to overload in Java? Operator. Guys, please go and study whatever we are going to discuss because each day it will be a different concept. It will be there actually. So it is very difficult for you to remember at the last minute actually because each day you'll be studying a new topic or new concept you'll be studying. So always each day whatever we are discussing, please go through and practice it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next we have your dynamic or runtime polymorphism. How you will achieve your dynamic or runtime polymorphism with the help of
Overriding.
what overriding?
Method.
Method overriding is so we have only method overriding. So in today's session, we are going to discuss only about the static polymorphism. We are going to discuss it actually, and the static polymorphism we are going to discuss. Static polymorphism we are going to discuss actually. So first we are going to discuss about your method overloading. So what is your method overloading? Same method in but
Arguments.
different number, order, and data type of the argument. Data type of argument present in a class. So this is called method overloading. So what is method overloading? It should be same method name, but different number, order, and data type of the argument present in the C class. It doesn't check what? It doesn't check.
Return type.
It can be anything actually, but same method names, but different number, order, and data type of the argument present in the same class actually. So that is we call it method overloading concept. So consider I'm going to have a main class. I'm going to have. Please mute your call if you're not speaking or sit in a place where there is no background disturbance. So we have a main class called as main. Okay, we have a main class called as your main. So now I'm going to create a class called as your overload demo. So what this overload demo is called as what class?
Base class.
So now I'm going to create a method called void test method, system.out.println of no parameter. Next I'm going to define a method called void test of which is going to take one argument, system.out.println of a equal to plus a. Next I'm going to create a method called void test of int. Yes, can you define a method like this? Void test of int yes?
No, sir.
No, because as I already told before, it should be different number, order, and different type of the argument actually. So I can able to give int a comma int b. Is it accepted now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. System.out.println of I can able to give a equal to plus a plus b equal to b. So next I'm going to define a method called double test, which is going to pass your int a, and I'm going. Sorry, can I able to define a method called double test of int a?
No, sir.
No, it is not possible because already we have this thing. So here I'm going to pass double a. So is it accepted?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So now I'm going to system.out.println of a. I'm going to print it. Next I'm going to print return a into a. Okay. So we created a base class which contains 4 methods. It was containing all the 4 methods contain the same method name called
Yes.
a different number, order, and data type of the argument. So this concept is called as what?
Method overloading.
Method overloading. Okay, this concept is called to be a method overloading concept. Now how I can able to access these methods and all?
By creating an object.
I'm going to define a method called overload demo. OB is equal to new overload demo. Okay, now I call ob.test method. So which test method will be invoking? Without printer.
Test.
Who's told default constructor? I'm asking OB.test method. So which test method will be invoking?
The first one, non-parameter.
And what it will be printed?
No
No
parameter.
No parameter.
OB.test of 10. So now it is going to invoke the test method which takes a single int argument. You printed a equal to 10 actually. Next we are
Yeah.
going to call OB.test of 10, 20. It is going to take your, and the test method is going to take
Two integer.
two arguments. Okay, two arguments. Next I'm going to define double result is equal to OB.test of 123.4. So now it is going to invoke a test method that takes a single
Double parameter.
it will be 123 point, it will be printing, and after that it is going to calculate 234.4 into 123.4, and the written value will be stored in a variable called system.out.println. So now it will be printing the value, it will be printing actually. So now this is part of your method. So what is method over name? But different number, order, and data type of the argument which is going to be present in the,
Same class.
Same class.
Same class.
and it doesn't check for the data type. Sorry,
Return type.
check for the return type. So clear about the method overloading, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next, we are going to discuss about the constructor overloading. And what is constructor overloading now? Again, it is the same thing actually. Only difference is same constructor name, but different number, order, and
Data.
Data type.
it's same constructor name, but number, order, and data type of the argument that is present in the
Same
class. And obviously the constructor doesn't have
Return type.
no problem. Yeah. What is constructor overloading? Same constructor name, but different number, order, and data type of the argument present in the same class. So that is we call it constructor overloading. Now let me go on over here. Remove this one. So I have a main class actually. So now I'm going to create one base class actually. So I'm going to create a base class called the box, which contains this three variable or what variable?
Instance variable.
Variable, class variable. So now I created a base class called as your box with three instance variable called as your width, height, as well as your depth. Now I'm going to create one constructor. Okay. So what is this constructor is?
Default.
Default.
It is default.
Yeah, default constructor. Now I'm going to initialize the value width is equal to -1, height is equal to -1, and depth is equal to -1. Depth is equal to -1. So next I'm going to create another constructor. It's box double width comma double height comma double depth. So this is what constructor?
Parameter.
This is called a parameterized constructor. And what are the parameters? It was taking the same with height and depth. So how I can able to differentiate the parameters as well as your class variables?
This dot is
By this
Is equal to width, and this dot height is equal to height. This dot depth is equal to depth. Next, I'm going to create one more constructor box, which is going to take double length. So I'm going to create one more constructor. And what constructor we created? A constructor which takes your a single parameter. Okay, it is going to take a single parameter, and here we are going to initialize width is equal to height is equal to depth is equal to length. Okay, depth is equal to length actually. Okay, so now the first one is your default constructor. The second one is a parameterized constructor. So how many parameters it was taking?
three.
And what's the data type of that particular parameters?
Double.
Yeah, we created one more constructor which is takes your single parameter, and what is your data type of that particular parameter?
Double.
Even I can able to give it as int also I can able to give anything I can able to give actually. Okay, so in this case what we are passing now, we are passing the data type as an argument actually. But in the case of Java, apart from this data type, even we can able to pass an object as an argument actually. Okay, even we can able to pass an object as an argument. So I'm going to define one more constructor, and this constructor it is going to take an object as an
Argument.
argument, and that is also it is going to take an object of which class?
Same class. Box class.
Box class. Okay, it's going to take an object as a box class. So previously, whether it is a method or it might be a constructor. Okay, whether it is a method or it might be a constructor. Apart from data type, even we can able to pass what as an argument?
Object.
Object as an argument. Okay, even we can able to pass an object as an argument actually. So in this case, what object we are passing? We are passing an object of which class?
Box.
Box class.
Base
Box
class.
class. So now we are going to define width is equal to b dot width, height is equal to now I'm going to initialize it. Height is equal to b dot height, GHD. And next is depth is equal to b dot depth. So how many constructor we created over here? Four constructor. All the constructor which has the same name but different number, order, and data type of the argument present in the same class. So this concept is called what concept?
Constructor overloading.
Constructor overloading. So how I can able to invoke these constructors?
By creating
By
object.
creating an
Creating
object.
the object.
Okay. So I'm going. Let me define one method also. Double volume method. Double volume method where it is going to calculate the volume width into height into depth. Height into depth. Okay. So now I'm going to define box b1 is equal to new box. So it is going to invoke which constructor it will be invoking?
Default
Default
constructor.
constructor.
And what your width, height, and depth will be initialized for your default constructor?
-1.
So now I'm going to declare a local variable called double vol is equal to b1 dot volume. Now I'm going to call system.out.println volume is
Wall.
fall. Volume is fall. So how much volume is printer?
-1. -1.
Right, now -1 up.
-1.
Next is box b2 is equal to new box of 30, So now it is going to invoke which constructor?
Parameterized.
Three argument constructor, and your width will be initialized as 10, height will be initialized as 20, and depth will be initialized as 30 actually. Now if I try to call vol is equal to b2 dot volume, now what my volume will be printed?
6,000.
6,000.
Next I'm going to calculate box b3 is equal to new box of 7. So which constructor will be invoking? The constructor which takes
Single parameter.
and all your width, height, and depth will be initialized as how much?
3.
7.
7.
Seven, sorry,
Initialized as 7 actually. Now I'm going to calculate b3 dot volume, so 7 into 7 into 7, and the written volume will be stored in a local variable called vol, and it will be printed actually. Next I'm going to calculate box b4 is equal to new box of b2. So now I'm going to invoke which constructor? The constructor which takes
Object is a parameter.
With reference.
an argument. So b2. What is b2 is an?
It is an object.
Object reference.
My object will contain.
3 parameters.
No,
Constructor.
I'm asking what my object will contain.
Memory reference.
Memory reference.
Containing the memory reference. So this b2 memory reference, it will be copied to your reference called, or it copied to an object called
B.
Now, what my B object also will be containing? The B object also will be containing the same reference of.
B2.
Of
Okay, it will contain the same reference of. Now, if I try to call width is equal to B dot width, right, it is nothing but B2 dot width. And what is your B2 dot width is?
10.
Again,
And next, with height is equal to B dot height, right, is nothing but B2 dot height. And what will be the height will be?
20.
20. And depth is equal to B dot depth, right, is nothing but B2 dot depth actually. So what will be height also will be taking?
30.
Okay. So now if I try to call my B4 dot volume, now again what my volume will be printed?
6,000.
6,000.
6,000. Okay, 6,000.0. So apart from data type, even we can able to pass what as an argument?
Object. Reference variable.
Yeah, object as an argument actually. So in this case, we are passing the B2 object as an argument, and what my B2 will be containing? B2 will be containing the memory reference. It will be containing. So that memory reference will be copied to my
B.
B object. Okay, to my B object. So clear, guys? About
Yes,
the
sir.
overloading?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So in JDK 1.5, okay. So now my requirement is that I want to add two numbers. Let me remove this. I create a base class called as your demo. I create a base class called as your demo. So now my requirement is that I want to add two numbers. I want to add it actually. Okay, I want to add two numbers. I want to add it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to define a method called void add method that is going to take two int argument. It is going to take it, and inside that I'm going to add two numbers. I'm going to add it. Now the client is asking, no, I want to add three numbers. I want to add it. So what I have to do, I have to create one more add method that is going to take.
3 parameters.
3 parameters.
parameters.
Now the client is asking, no, I want to add four numbers. I want to add it. Now what I want to do, I want to create one more add method that is going to take.
4
Four
parameters.
parameters.
Okay, it's going to take 4 parameters actually. Now the client is asking, now I want to add five numbers. I want to add it actually. Now I want to create one more add method that is going to take. If I want to add 6 numbers now, then I want to create one more add method that takes how many parameters? 6 parameters. If I want to add one more seven numbers now, then we have to add one more and a method that is going to add seven parameters. I have to add it. So instead of doing like this, okay, instead of doing like this, your JDK 1.5 have introduced a new concept called as your VARAX. Okay, VARAX concept. So this is available from which version?
JDK
1.5 version actually. And what is the purpose of this VARAX arguments now? We can pass
Multiple arguments.
multiple number of arguments. Okay, unlimited number of
Arguments.
we can pass any number of arguments. We can able to pass it. So that is the purpose of your VARAX concept. Actually, we can pass unlimited number of arguments actually. And how it is denoted now? It is denoted using your triple dot. Okay, if I use triple dot now, then it indicates it is called as what concept?
VARAX.
Concept. And what is that VARAX concept now? We can able to pass n number of
Arguments.
to pass your n number of arguments. So for that purpose, you'll be using a concept called as a VARAX concept actually. So for example, here I'm going to define one add method, and inside this add method, I'm going to give int triple dot of a. And what this indicates, this particular add method can take any number of
Arguments.
argument. What argument? Argument. Okay, can take any number of argument. So I can able to define. So I can able to create an object d is equal to demo d is equal to new demo of. Now I can able to call my d dot demo method. So d dot add method. With an argument also I can able to call it d dot add method of 1, 2, 3, or I can able to call d dot add of and 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can pass any number of.
argument.
Int
So
argument.
first I'm calling my d dot add method. It goes over here. It is not going to print anything actually. Now if I try to call my d dot add of 1, 2, 3 now again it will go to this add method. Now this a will be containing multiple values it was containing actually. So how I can able to print 1 values? Yesterday we have studied. No, I have a collection of values. I want to print 1 values. Now I have to go for what?
Arrays.
For loop we have studied. Apart from for loop we have studied one more thing.
For each.
But here I can able to define for. I can able to. And I've already told the 2 rules. What are the 2 rules we have studied in for each?
Same data type should be
The 2 counter variables should be declared inside the thing of same data type. A1 colon A, and I can able to just print it. System dot colon of. Or if you want to sum it now, I can able to define a local variable called double sum. Int sum. I want to sum it now. I can able to define local variable called int sum, and inside the for loop I can able to define. Sum is equal to sum plus is equal to a1, and I can able to print my. I can able to print my sum value. I can able to print. Oh, it is initialized. It's a local variable. It's been initialized actually. So now you can able to see if I try to run it. So I'm going to get one value from the a, and I'm going to sum it. So for the first time it is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6 it will be coming actually, and for the second time it will be coming as how much? 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 it becomes how much? So if I want to pass unlimited number of values, in that case I can able to go for a method called. You can go for a concept called. Now I'm going to define one method void add method that is going to boolean triple dot of b. So what this method indicates? This method is going to take any number of.
Boolean argument.
So I can able to print one by one with the help of boolean b1 colon b, and I can able to print it. Here we are not summing anything. I'm just going to print it actually. So here I can able to call. So it will be a problem actually. So here I can able to call d dot add of true comma false comma true comma true. So I can able to pass any number of boolean values. I can able to pass it. So with the help of your VARAX concept. Yeah. Next is a void add of. Now my condition is that I want to pass one string argument and I want to pass any number of double argument. I want to pass it. So can I define like this? Double triple dot of d comma string s is accepted. I want to pass one string argument. I want to pass any number of double argument. I want to pass it. So can I define like this?
No.
No. So because it is confused because the double triple dot d now I can pass any number of double argument. But how many argument? 1 or 2 or 3? I don't know. And after that only I can able to pass.
One string argument.
Whenever you are going to combine your and the VARAX argument with the other argument, the VARAX argument should be always in the
Second, after that.
last argument actually.
Last
So next
argument,
point to remember in the VARAX argument is whenever we combine VARAX with other arguments, then VARAX should be always present as a always as last argument.
Last
It should be last argument. So in this case, how I can able to define? So I can able to define one string variable d dot add of. I can able to define one string variable, and after that I can able to define any number of.
Arguments.
Double
Double.
arguments.
Double arguments.
So here I can able to define system.out.println of yes because it's a single argument, and in order to print the double value, I can able to use my for each statement. Double d1 colon d, and I can able to print my system.out.println of. Next rule is that, so can I create a method like this? Void add of string yes comma double triple dot of d comma int triple dot of a. Can I define like this?
No.
No. So what is
No,
the next
sir.
rule is that a method can have only
One.
One
argument.
argument.
Barrage argument. Okay, only one barrage argument it can have, because we can't able to identify how many double argument I have to give. After that, I have to give you how many int argument I have to give it. So this is not possible in the case of your under Java. So if I try to use your barrage arguments now, the barrage argument should be always present in the last argument, and a method can have only.
One
argument.
Clear about your barrage concept, guys?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the next topic we are going to discuss is we call it here non-access specifier. So in the yesterday session, we have discussed about a concept called access specifier. What are the different access specifiers we have?
Public, private, default.
Four types.
And what is an access specifier now? It can be applied for everything. Okay, it can be applied for everything. You can able to apply the access specifier for your class, method, constructor, interface, variable, for everything. You can apply the specifier. But now onwards we are going to, oh my God, guys, please mute. Non-access specifier. Now onwards we are going to study a concept called as your non-access specifier. And how many access specifiers we have?
Four types.
So four types are there actually. And in non-access specifier, we are going to study different things. We are going to study it actually. But what is a non-access specifier now? Non-access specifier, it has its own restriction. It has its own restriction. It cannot be applied for. It cannot be applied for everything actually. So access specifier now, it can be applied for everything. You can able to apply for class, method, constructor, interface, variable, constants like that. You can able to apply for everything actually. But non-access specifier now, it has its own restriction actually. So for example, the first non-access specifier we are going to study is we call it a static. Point it is a non-access specifier. It is a non-access specifier actually. Okay, it is a non-access specifier. So it cannot be applied for. It cannot be applied for everything actually. Okay, it cannot be applied for everything actually. So that is we call it a static keyword. It is a non-access specifier actually. So we'll see what are the things. Okay, so whenever a class is declared as static, what it means, there is no need to
Create the object.
create an
Object.
object. Okay, there is no need to create an object. And one more important thing is outer class cannot be declared as
Static.
static. Only which class can be declared as static?
Inner.
Only inner class can be static. We'll discuss next topic about the inner class actually, can be static actually. But remember, the outer class cannot be declared as static. Only the inner classes can be declared to be static actually. And whenever you declare any class to be static now, there is no need to
Create the
Create
object.
object.
Okay. Whenever a method is declared as static, normally how you invoke your method, guys?
By creating the object.
By getting
Okay. Whenever a method is declared as static, if it is present in same class, if method is present in same class, it is accessed by no method name. If it is same class name, it is just called by method name. But if method is present in different class now, if method is present in different class now, how it will be accessible? It is accessed, it is accessed by class name dot.
Method name.
Yeah. So whenever a method is declared as static, and if a method is present in the same class name, it is accessed by method name, and if it is present in a different class name, it is called by
Class name dot method name.
Last name dot method name.
clearly. Whenever a variable is declared as static, and if variable is present in the same class name, it is called by, or it is accessed by,
Variable.
and if it is present in the different class name, it is accessed by
Class name dot
Class
variable.
name dot variable.
class dot variable name.
Variable.
Next important point. The next point you have to remember. So first we have discussed it is a non-access specifier, and whenever a class is declared to be static now, there is no need to create an object, and only which classes can be declared as static?
Inner.
Inner classes.
Inner classes.
Can be static. Outer classes cannot be static actually. And whenever a method is declared as static now, and if the method is present in the same class now, it is accessed by method name, and if it is present in the different class now, it is accessed by class name dot method name actually. And if a variable is declared as static now, and if a variable is present in the same class now, it is called by variable name, and if it is present in the different class now, it is called by class name dot.
Variable name.
The next important point you have to remember is that the static method can access only static content. Okay. If it is not static now, then it accessed by
Not static.
then it is accessed by creating an
Object.
Object.
So always remember, this is also very important point. The static method can access only what?
Static
Static.
content.
Not static now, then it is accessed by creating an object. I'm going to create a class sample actually, and inside this class I'm going to define public static void main string array args, and instead of string array args, can you use string triple dot args?
Yes, sir.
Represents a collection of objects. And what is triple dot also represents a
Whereas.
what is args now? We can store collection of information. So instead of defining string square bracket args, can I give string triple dot args?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now here I'm going to define a variable called int a. So can you guys say what is an int a is?
Non-static.
Leave nothing and I'm asking what variable is.
Class.
Class variable or
Class variable. Instance variable.
necessary to initialize your class variable or an instance variable?
No, sir.
Not necessary. So it will take the default value depending on the data type. So if I try to print my system.out.println of a, now what it will be printed?
Zero.
No.
Default value.
No.
It will not
Error. Compile error.
Why it is an error? Because your main
Because
method is
Static.
static. Whereas a is what variable it is? Non-static.
Non-static.
Ready? Your static method is only
Static. Static.
So it leads to an error. So how I can able to avoid the error? So either I can able to define static, then it will print what?
Zero.
Zero.
If I have one more variable called boolean p. So boolean p is also what variable?
Non-static. Not variable, sir.
Can I
Non-static.
system.out.println of the b?
Compilation error.
Compilation error.
Now, if I try to give a system.out.println of b, now it leads to what?
Compilation error.
Main method is what method?
Static.
Because your boolean is not.
Static.
Non-static.
So avoid the error.
Static.
I can give static boolean, or I can able to create what?
Object.
Object.
Object
So
class.
I can able to give sample yes is equal to new sample of, and I can able to create system.out.println of
S.D.
what is printer? What it will be printer?
False.
Got it out. This is also a very, very important point.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the static method will access only what content? Static content.
Static.
Static and it will be accessed by creating an
Object.
the next point. What will be the entry point of your program?
Main. Main method.
The
Main method, sir.
point of your program. But before your main method invokes, if we invoke, if we want to do some logic, then we can go for
Static block.
static block. So normally, what will be the entry point of your program?
Main method.
But if your program contains your static block now, before your main method, which one will be invoked first?
Static block.
Okay. So before your main method, if I want to invoke anything now, then you can able to go for a block called as.
Static block.
Static block.
What is your syntax now? Static open brace, and I can able to write some logic, and I can able to close it. So this block is called as what block?
Static block.
Static block.
You have to remember the static method will override only another static method. This point I'll discuss afterwards, but just remember, the static method will override only another.
Static block.
Yeah, so these are the points you have to remember in the case of your static keyword. The first point, it is a non-access specifier, and what is non-access specifier? It has
Static.
mode restriction. It cannot be
Class
applied.
is declared as static.
Cannot be applied to everything.
It cannot be applied to everything actually. So in this case, the static keyword cannot be applied for which one?
Outer slash.
Outer.
Outer.
Only which one can be declared as a static?
Inner class.
Only inner class.
Static now what is not needed?
Creating object is not required.
There is no need to create an object.
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 And whenever a method is declared to be static, and if a method is present in the same class, now how you call that particular method?
Value class name.
Method name actually. And if it is present in a different class, now how you call it?
Class name.
Class
Class
name.
name. And if a variable is declared to be static now, and if a variable is present in the same class name, it is called by variable name, and if it is present in the different class name, it is called by
Class
Class
name.
name.
class name dot variable name actually. And the static method will access only
Static.
static content. The static method will access only the static content it will be accessing actually. And if it is not static now, then how you can able to access it?
By creating object.
Object. Yeah. And what will be the entry point of your program? And before your main method, if I want to invoke anything, then you have to go for your
Static.
actually. And the static method will override only another static. Okay. So consider I'm going to create a class called as your demo. So this demo is called as what class?
Base.
Demo is called as your base class. And inside this base class, I'm going to define static int a equal to 4, and next we define static int b. So what these two variables are?
Class
Class variable, and they are declared as
Static.
static. Now I'm going to define one method called. Okay, 1 minute. Let me remove this one. Not creating any base class. So I have only one class called as a main class, and inside this main class, I created a variable called static int a equal to 4, and the static int. Oh, we created a main class, and inside this main class, we created two static variables called
A and B.
a and b. Now inside that, I'm creating one method called static void method, which is going to take some argument, and inside this argument, I'm going to call system.out.println of x. Next, I'm going to print system.out.println of a. Can I able to print? Can I able to access a inside my method?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because
Yes, sir.
why no? Yes, because a is also what variable?
Static variable.
Static.
That method is also what method?
Static variable.
So it can be accessed. Now system.out.println of b. So can I able to access b?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have a main method actually. Normally, what will be the entry point of your program?
Main.
Main method. But before my main method invokes, if I want to invoke anything, then I can go for your
Static block.
static block. And inside the static block, I'm going to give system.out.println static block initialized, and here I'm going to give b equal to a into 3 actually. So now before my main method invokes, which one will be invoked first?
Static.
What it will be printed?
Static block is sliced.
Now we are calculating b equal to a into 3. What is your a value? 4 into 3. So what will be your b?
12.
Static block is completed. Now we will come into which one?
Main method.
And inside your main method, how I can able to call my net method? That is it's a static method present in the same class. How I can able to call it?
By using
Using the class name and the method name.
No,
Method
method
name.
name.
Present in the same class. It's called by method name. So met of 10. So now we will go to the met method. So what is your x value?
10.
10.
So printing 10. What by a will be printed?
10.
4. And what by b will be printed?
12.
12.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let me remove all this stuff. Now I created a base class called as your demo. And inside that I'm going to define a static variable called static int a equal to 10. Next I'm going to define static int equal to 20. Now I'm going to define a method called static void show. And inside this system.out.println of So now I created a base class called as your demo with two instance variables, static instance variable, and one static method called show actually. Now how I can able to access the show method in my main class lab? Class name dot
Show. Method name.
show. And how I can able to access the static variable outside which is present outside the class?
Class name dot
By
variable.
using the class name and method name.
Class name dot e. So I'm going to call demo dot e. So what it will be printed 20 as well as your 10 it will be printed. The next concept we are going to discuss under your static keyword, we'll discuss it. Before that, how I can able to print in the case of Java. If I want, how I can able to print anything in the case of Java.
By calling the static class system. System.out.println.
How we are printing in the case of Java. Using which side we are printing in Java. Right. We have done so many programs. How we are printing the output in the case of Java.
System.out.println.
System.out.println.
Println.
System.out.println. So can you guys say what is system?
It is a static class.
So we have inbuilt class called as your system class. Inbuilt class called as your system class. So system is a class. System is a class. What is out is?
Static variable of out class, system class.
Yes. No. It's a static variable. Okay, but out is what? Out is an
Operation.
out is an
Reference
Variable.
object.
string
It is an
variable.
object of which class? Print string class, and it is a static field in which class? Static variable in system class. So inside your system class, we have a static variable called static print string out. Static print string out. So system is a class. Out is an object of print string class, and it is a static variable in your
System class.
system class. So how you call your static variables and all?
Class name dot.
Class name dot variable.
Method name.
That's the reason we are calling system dot.
Out.
What is println? Println is a
Method of print stream class.
class. Which class?
Print stream.
Yeah, print stream class. Okay. It is a method of your print stream class actually. Okay, it is a method of your print stream class. So this is also an interview type of question. What is system.out.println? So system is a class. Out is an object of a print stream class, but it is a static field in the
System
system.
class.
So we are calling system.out actually. And println is a method of
Print stream class.
String class.
how you invoke a method. How you invoke a method.
By using
What object? We are using what object?
Out. System dot out.
Out. We are using an output of println. Clear up.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So now we are going to study a concept called as your static import in Java. Static import in Java. So this is again available from JDK 1.5%. It is available from JDK 1.5%. So normally, how you will invoke your static methods and static variables?
Class name dot variables and class name dot method name.
So normally we can invoke static method and the variable using class name dot method name. But we don't want to invoke static method or variable as class name dot method name or variable name. In that case, we'll be going for what concept?
Static import.
So
Static import.
This is available only from JDK 1.5 version actually. So normally we'll be invoking the static method and the static variable with the help of your class name dot method name or class name dot variable name actually. But I don't want to invoke your static method as and the static variable with the help of class name dot variable name or class name dot method name. In that case, you can go for a concept called for example, please mute your call. For example, I'm going to calculate double D is equal to math dot square root of 16. Math dot square root of 16. So what is math? Math is a
Class.
and square root is a
Method. Static
What
method.
method?
static method. That is a static method actually. So we are calling class name dot method name. Okay, we are calling as class name dot method name. We are calling and we are calculating the square root actually. So now I want to print it actually. How you will print it? Using system dot. Again, system is a
class.
Out is a
Print string.
class, print string class, and it is a static field in which class?
System.
System class. System
Calling
class.
class name dot.
We are calling a method println.
No. System is a class. Out is an object of a print stream class, and it is a static variable in your system class.
System
So how
class. By class name.
class
Class name dot variable name.
class name dot variable name. And println is a method actually. Okay, println is a method of your print stream
Print
class.
stream class.
An object called as your out object. So, but what is my objective? I don't want to call any static method or static variable using a class name dot method name or class name dot variable name. In that case, I can go for what concept?
Static import.
I'm going to remove this one. So now here, what I'm going to give now? I'm going to give import static
Static.
java dot land dot math dot star, and next is import static java dot land dot system dot star.
Star.
So if I try to give it now, then there is no need to and call any static method or static variable using your class name dot method name or class name dot variable name. So in that case, you can able to go for a concept called as static import. So if I don't want to call any static variable or static methods using a class name dot variable name or class name dot method name, in that case, you can able to go for a concept called
Static import.
static import. And this is available only from which version?
JDK 1.5.
Version. Clear, guys?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Just 1 minute, I'll take the water can. Okay, so we'll go for the next topic. That is we call it a nested class as well as your inner class. The next topic we are going to discuss is we call it a nested class as well as your inner class. So what is nested class means? A class which is present inside
Another class.
another class. Class inside another class. So that is we call it a nested class. So for example, I created a class A, and inside class A, I'm going to create a class B. Inside class A, I'm going to create a class B. So this is we call it as what class actually?
Nested class.
Nested class actually. So whenever you talk about this B class, okay, whenever you talk about this B class, this inside class, okay, inside class can be either static or non-static. Okay, either static or non-static. So nested class means a class which is present inside another class is we call it a nested class. So we have a class A and inside class B. So as a whole, this is we call it a nested class actually. Okay. So now whenever we talk about this inside class, the inside class can be either static or non-static. So here the non-static inner class is called as inner class. Non-static inner class is called to be an inner class actually. So for example, so this is we call this B is called as what class?
Inner
class. Is called as what? Because it's a non-static one. Because it is a non-static class. Non-static inner class is called to be an inner class actually. So now if I try to do the same thing, but if it is static now, the inner class only which can be declared to be what? Static. So now this B is called as what class?
Static.
We call it a static class.
Static
Actually. So the non-static inner class is we call to be inner class, and the static class is we call to be a static class actually.
Static class.
So how I can able to create an object for this B class? Okay, how I can able to create an object for this B class now? Since B is present inside the A class, A dot B, some object is equal to new A of dot new B of. So if I want to create an object for the B class now, first we have to create an object for the
A class.
B class, then only we can create the object for the B class. If it is a static class now, is it possible to create an object for the static class?
No, sir.
No need to create an object. We can create it, but no need to create an object. So A dot B, A equal to new A dot.
Class one.
So if I want to invoke the static class B now, like this, you can able to create an object and invoke it. If I want to invoke my inner class now, like this, you can able to create an object and invoke it. Clear up?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So consider I'm going to create one main class. We have a class called as your outer. I created a class called as your outer. So this outer is called as what class?
Base class.
Base class.
Now inside this outer class, I'm going to declare a variable called x is equal to 100. Okay. So this x is what variable? Okay. So now I'm going to define inside this class outer. I'm going to create a class called
Inner class.
I'm going to create a class called inner. And inside this, I'm going to call a method called display method. And inside this display method, I'm going to access your x variable. Okay. I'm going to access your x variable actually. So can you see how I can able to invoke this display method actually?
By creating the object.
Outer
Outer class and then inner.
Outer dot
Inner.
is equal to
New outer.
Outer.
Inner.
Dot inner.
now I can able to call o dot
Display.
display method. And what my x will be printed?
100.
So clear about your inner class and the outer class? Sorry,
Yes,
nested class and inner class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The next topic we are going to discuss is we call command line arguments. So what is command line argument? So at the time of running the program, we are going to give an input to the program. At running, we are giving input to program. So that is we call it a command line argument actually. So how I can able to identify the command line argument? So no one will say this program is your command line argument like that. So we have to identify the command line argument program. So how we can able to identify the command line argument program now? If what is your syntax of your main method?
Public static void main.
Static void and
Static void main.
String args actually. So if we use args somewhere in the program, somewhere inside the program, then that particular program is we call it what program?
command line.
Command line argument. So I have to use that string array args. That args, if I try to use inside my program now, then that particular program is we call it a command line argument program. So for example, here, so I have a main class. Okay. So now what I'm going to define? I'm going to define for int I equal to 0, I less than args.length, I plus plus. So now I'm going to define out.println of args of I. So now what we have done actually, so we created a simple for loop we have created, but I have used that args inside my program actually. Okay, I have used this args inside my program over here. So then this program is we call to be what? Command line program. And what is command line argument now? We at runtime we are going to give the
Your class argument.
input actually. So now I'm going to right click, run as. Till now we have run as what?
Java application.
Java application. But if I just click run as Java application, it will be executed. But I want to give the command line argument actually. So for that, I'll go to run configuration, and inside the run configuration, I'll go to my arguments tab, and inside my arguments, I'm going to give my command line argument. Hello space world, hello 1 space 2 space 3. So how many command line arguments we have provided? 5. 1 minute, guys. I'm just skipping. Okay, so I have given 5 arguments have been provided actually. So can you say guys how many arguments have been provided?
5.
5 arguments. So each argument it should be separated by space actually. Okay, each argument is separated by space. Hello world 1, 2, 3. So 5 arguments we have given. So apply, run. So what will be our args dot length is now?
5.
Args of 0 is coming as hello. Args of 1 is coming as world. Args of 2 is coming as 1, 2, 3 like that it was for giving. So this is we call to be a command line argument. Clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
This topic we are going to discuss is called inheritance. What does inheritance means?
Acquiring the property.
Inherit the members of the parent class to child class.
Accessing the properties of
One class to the another.
another
One class to another class.
class into another. And the second inheritance use of
Code reusability.
and how you will be doing inheritance in the case of the Java?
Use extends keyword.
By using extends keyword.
Okay, so till now we have discussed about 2 classes we have discussed. What are the 2 classes we have discussed?
Base class and main class.
Base class.
Yes, main class we have discussed actually. So now we are going to discuss about one more class actually. So for example, we have a class A, and this class A is called as what class?
Base class.
Base class.
This class, or it can be called as subclass, or it can be called as parent class. Anyway, you can call it. Next, we have a class B that extends which class? A class. And B is called as what class? It will be called as
Child class.
It can be called as derived class, or it can be called as subclass, or even it can be called as
Child class.
So this is we call to be inheritance actually. So accessing the properties of one class into another class, so that is called inheritance. And the main objective of using inheritance is we call it a code reusability. And how I can able to do the inheritance now with the help of a keyword called as your
Extends
keyword.
keyword.
So now let me have a main class. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a class called as your A. So this A is called as what class?
Base class.
A is called as
Super class.
sorry, yeah, super class, base class, or parent class. Anyway, you can able to call it. Anyway, you can able to call it actually. And this box class. Okay, box class actually. So now I'm going to define the instance variable double width comma double height and double depth. So the 3 variables are called as what variable?
Instance variable.
Yeah. And then now I'm going to create constructors. I initialize the values to this with height and depth, and also we have to use what? If I want to initialize the values to the variables and all.
You can use constructor.
Constructors. So now I created what is this constructor is?
Default
Default constructor.
And what is this constructor is? Parameters.
3 parameters of type.
And next we have a parameter constructor which takes 1 parameter, and next we have a box constructor which is what is an argument.
Object is
So we created 4 constructors. What this concept is called as
constructor overloading.
overloading. Okay. And we have written a logic inside of that called as.
Volume.
Next we created class box weight that extends which class?
Box class.
So this box weight is called as what class?
Is it child class?
Child class.
Or derived class or subclass, anyway you can able to call it. And inside that I declared one variable called cost. This cost is what? This cost is what variable?
Class variable.
Instance variable. Class variable.
Class variable. So now I'm going to create a box weight constructor. Box weight, which is going to be double width comma double height comma double depth comma double cost. So now I created a parameterized constructor which takes the width, height, depth, as your cost. But in the case of your box weight class, we have declared only one variable called
Instance variable.
cost actually. Whereas we are going to take this with height and depth and all from which one?
Parent
That is for, sorry, we are going to take this with height and depth and all from the which class? Box class I'm going to take it. And is it possible to take from the box class? Yes, because my box weight class width is equal to W, height is equal to H, depth is equal to D, and cost is equal to C. The cost is equal to C actually. So now since we are box weight class extends the box class, we can able to take all the information from the parent class, because box weight class we have only one variable called
Cost.
we don't with height and depth variable are not present actually. But how I can able to take it because your box weight class extends your box class, so we can able to take your with height and depth variable from my which class?
Box class.
So now I'm going to create an object of my box weight class is equal to new box weight of
New box.
1, 2, 3, 4. So now your it will be invoking the 4 argument constructor. It will be invoking. So what is your width will be initialized as? 1. Height will be initialized as 2. Depth will be initialized as 3. And cost will be initialized as
4.
Now I'm going to declare one local variable called double wall is equal to. I'm going to call v dot volume method. Do we have volume method inside my box weight class?
No, sir, but it is present in box class.
My box extends your box class. It takes the volume method from which class?
Box class.
Parent class.
So 1 into 2 into 3. And value will be stored in a local variable called wall variable. So now I'm going to print it. Volume is wall. And next I'm going to print my cost. System.out.println cost is. I'm going to print my cost as b dot.
Cost.
B dot cost. So if I try to print it, it will print the volume as well as the cost value to be printed. So what is inheritance? Accessing the properties of one class into another class. Actually, so first it will go to the related class actually, and it will check whether it is present. If it is not present, only it is going to take from which class?
Parent class.
Parent class. Okay. So here we have performed what type of inheritance we have performed?
Single
Single
inheritance.
Single inheritance.
Performed only a single inheritance we have performed actually. Okay, we have performed only a single inheritance we have performed actually. Next, we are going to discuss about a keyword called super keyword. So what is the purpose of the super keyword now? Use it to access
Parent class.
your base class constructor base class method,
variable and method.
and variable, base class variable, and base class variable. Variable. Second important point, only in case of accessing base class constructor, super should be present in
First line.
present in first line. Should be present in first line. So what is the purpose of the super keyword? Now super keyword is used to access your base class constructor, base class method, as well as your base class variable. In that case, you can able to go for a keyword called as your super keyword actually. And only in the case of accessing your base class constructor, the super keyword should be present in the
First line.
Let me take the same example. In this case, we have a base class called as your box class, and this box class contains 3 instance variables called as your width, height, and depth actually. So can you guys say what is the access specifier for this width, height, and depth are?
Default.
It's a default one actually. So now what I'm going to do now, I'm going to define this to be private. I'm going to define this to be private. So if I try to define width, height, and cost to be private now, is it possible to access outside this class?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Can I able to access over here in my box weight constructor? Can I able to access over here?
No, sir.
Okay. So now before that, let me create my thing. So I'll create my box constructor. Box weight. I'll initialize box weight with -1. So I'll just call it box weight. I'm going to create an object of my box weight class, and I'm going to invoke which constructor?
Default constructor.
Default constructor. Now it will go to the default constructor. But in order to calculate your box weight, we need your height and depth value. I need it actually. But this depth value comes from what variables? Private variables. Actually. So you can't able to access outside the class actually. So for that, you can able to use a keyword called
Super.
I'm going to use my super constructor. So if I try to use my super constructor now, then it will try to which constructor it will be invoking?
Default constructor of private class.
The base class default constructor. Now the width, height, and depth are initialized as how much?
-1.
-1.
And your cost is also initialized as how much?
Minus one.
I'm going to calculate. I'm going to print my volume as well as your cost. I'm going to print it. What may be printed? -1. And what also will be printed?
-1.
Now I'm going to create one box weight parameterized constructor that is going to give double comma, double h comma, double d comma, double c. I'm going to define my 4-argument constructor actually, and I'm going to define cost is equal to c actually. The cost is equal to c. I have initialized only the cost value. I have initialized actually because the box weight class contains only the cost variable actually. But the width, height, and depth and all, it is not possible to access that as private actually. So how I can able to access it? Called super of w comma h comma d. Now what happens over here? Now I'm going to create a box weight v1 is equal to 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40. So now it is going to invoke which constructor, guys? Argument constructor. The constructor which takes
Four arguments.
T will be 40 actually. But we can't able to access your with height. In order to access it, we are calling super of Guys, are you there? Super
Yes,
of what?
It's a lot of background noise.
Please mute your call. And now say, I have invoked a 4-argument constructor actually, but we don't have your width, height, and depth because all the width, height, and depth are declared as what?
Private.
Private actually. So how I can able to access that particular width, height, and depth and all with the help of a keyword called?
Super keyword.
Now if I call super of w comma h comma d now, it is going to invoke which constructor?
Parameter.
Constructor which takes
Three arguments of type W.
width will be initialized as 10, height will be initialized as 20, depth will be initialized 30, and it will come back over here and cost will be initialized as how much?
40.
Now I'm going to calculate my now I'm going to calculate my v1 dot volume. Now it will be printing your volume as 6000.0 and your cost will be printed as how much?
40.0.
40.
Next one. I'm going to create a next object called b2. It is going to take 2 arguments, 3, comma 4. Okay, it is going to take 2 argument called as your 3, comma 4 actually. So now I'm going to create a constructor that takes 2 argument constructor. Whenever we create an object, it will go to my 2 argument constructor. So box weight double len comma double cost double c. And inside that, I'm going to define cost is equal to c actually. So I have initialized my cost is equal to c. And in order to calculate your width, height, and the depth, I'm going to call super of len. So now if I try to call my super of len, it is going to invoke my
This one.
it is going to invoke my base class constructor that is going to take a single parameter, and that parameter has been initialized to your width, height as well as your
Depth.
Now, if I try to call my b2 dot volume, so it is going to calculate the volume that is 3 into 3 into 3, that is 9 into 3 will be 27.0. So the cost will be how much it will be printed?
4.0.
Next, I'm going to calculate box weight b3 is equal to new box weight of b1. New box weight of b1. So now I'm going to invoke a box weight constructor that takes what as an object? What as an argument?
An object.
Yes. Now I'm going to create a box weight constructor. Box weight constructor that takes your box weight as an argument actually. So now b1. What may b1 will contain?
Memory
Reference.
Reference. So that memory reference will be copied to which object?
B.
So now I can call my base class constructor. So now I'm going to define cost is equal to p dot cost.
Cost.
Going to call super of b. And if I call my super of b now, it is going to invoke my base class constructor that takes
object.
object as an argument. So now with height and depth will be initialized over here, and the cost also initialized. So if I try to calculate my p3 dot again, what my volume will be printed?
40.0.
So that is the purpose of the super keyword. So super keyword is used to access my base class constructor, base class variable, and base class method. And only in the case of your base class constructor, the super keyword should be present in the
First line.
First line.
First line.
It should be present in the first line. And here why we have used your super keyword actually because we have declared the variables to be what?
Private.
Private variable. We have declared the variables to be what? Private.
Private.
Let me create one more class called class A, and this class contains one instance variable called B. So now I created a class called A. Is called as what class?
Base class.
Base class. And it contains one instance variable called.
Instance class level variable.
Next, I created class B that extends your A class. Class B extends your A class, and here also I declared two variable called int A, comma B. I declared two variable called int A, comma
B.
B. Now I declare the constructor int x, comma y, and I'm going to store A. Okay. Now I'm right. Here also I declared one variable called as your. The B class also contains one variable called as your
Int A.
A.
variable. So now what I'm just defining now, I'm just defining two constructors. I'm just defining a parameterized constructor that takes two. I'm going to define equal to new b of 1, 2. I'm going to invoke a constructor that is going to take how many arguments?
Two arguments.
So your x will be
One.
1.
1 and your y will be
2.
So now I want to store this x and y value to this a variable I want to store it. But both the class contain the same variable actually. In order to avoid this situation, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call super.a is equal to. So now let's store a class variable or b class variable.
A class variable.
A class variable.
Super.a is equal to x. Next I'm going to give a equal to y. Now the two will be stored in a variable called which variable?
B class variable.
B class variable. So now I'm going to define a method called void show method. Inside the show method, I'm going to give system.out.println of system.out.println super.a. So if I print super.a now, what value it will be printed?
1.
One.
If I just print a now, what value will be printed?
2.
So here why we have to go for a super keyword. Super keyword is used to access your base class variable, base class method, and base class constructor. Only in the case of your base class constructor, the super keyword should be present in the
First line.
first line. Okay, so present in the first line. Here are these.
Yes, sir.
So today I'll stop with this. Okay. And please go through the topic. And apart from this, I'm going to use some programs also. You have to try those programs and come for tomorrow's session.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.